This is Carolina in the Morning on Fox Wilmington. Streaming live on foxwilmington.com.
Good Tuesday morning. Thanks for joining us on Fox Wilmington. I'm Bob Bonner.
And I'm Kim Ratcliffe. Happy to have you with us this morning. New this morning, 2 men reportedly assaulted in the area of Racine and College Acres Drive in Wilmington. Dispatch telling us that 7 men took part in this assault at around 3:30 this morning. The group also stole the pair's car keys. No word on the extent of the injuries, but we do know that EMS was called to the scene. However, no one was taken to the hospital. Wilmington police officers are investigating the case.
Also new this morning, Jeffrey Affolter in jail this morning. He's now facing more than 20 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor. Currently being held under a $100,000 bond, is scheduled to appear in a New Hanover County courtroom later today.
Another man also set to appear in court this morning, Christopher Korchesny, facing charges of sexual offenses with a child and indecent liberties with a child. He's being held in the Hanover County Jail under an unknown bond.
So that's the news of the morning locally, but this morning nationally, millions continue to offer support to the Orlando community after that deadly shooting that left 49 dead.
Leanne Gregg is in Orlando with more on the investigation and how the community is coping.
In the wake of tragedy, an outpouring of love with memorials across the country.
Hate cannot bring an end to hate. Only love can do that. As
communities grieve, investigators are learning more about the attack. Images from inside the Pulse nightclub reveal horrific moments. Amanda Alvear, who posted this video on Snapchat, was killed in the rampage. Christine Leinen's son also did not escape the gunfire. More than 30 hours after the shooting, a Florida policeman gave her the news she'd been dreading.
He said, "Your son is dead."
Just like that?
Just like that.
He never made it to the hospital?
He died on the floor of the club. That's what they said.
Agents continue to investigate the gunman's background, including reports he'd sent messages using a gay online dating site and that he'd been seen several times at the nightclub where he opened fire. The weapons he used bought legally a little over a week ago at this gun store.
Unfortunately, he's evil. We happen to be the gun store he picked. And there's nothing else I can say. It's horrible.
And now a community left to heal following tragedy.
A candlelight vigil will be held tonight to remember an East Carolina University graduate who was killed in that shooting. Shane Tomlinson grew up in Concord. That's where he was in a band and sang gospel music. His friends say they believe Tomlinson was performing at the Pulse nightclub the night of the shooting. They were devastated to hear of Tomlinson's death and say they want to remember and honor him. Tomlinson graduated from ECU with a degree in communication.
Today, another vigil taking place, this one at UNCW. Chancellor Zito Sartorelli sending out an email to students, faculty, and staff expressing his sympathy to all those affected by the attack. They plan to have the campus vigil this evening, 5:30 at the amphitheater on campus. Sartorelli closing the email with the words, "May love prevail in our midst." There will also be a prayer vigil tonight in Wilmington for those killed in Orlando. Pastor John McLaughlin of St. Jude's Metropolitan Community Church says it was hard getting through his sermon on Sunday morning. In light of the tragedy, he wants the community to come together to honor those victims. That vigil will be held at the church at North 26th Street, and it's scheduled to begin at 6:30 this evening. Now, obviously, the impact of the mass shooting in Florida being felt all around the world, including here locally.
And now a local club will be showing their support for the victims by holding a fundraiser this Friday. Carolina in the Morning's Victoria Huggins joining us right now. Victoria, what is the club hoping will come from this fundraiser?
The goal is to not only raise awareness in the wake of this tragedy, but also to raise some money that could be put to use in Florida. The manager of Ibiza is already prepping for crowds, and Friday he says that there will be an extra police presence at the club on Market Street in Wilmington. The club is waiving its cover charge, instead asking for donations. Ibiza will match those donations dollar for dollar, up to $5,000 to help the victims of the Orlando tragedy. Ibiza's manager says this is an act of terrorism, first and foremost, and people need to stand together.
I feel like there is something like this every 3 to 6 months. We wake up and you see something like this on the news, and I feel like this is possibly something of the modern times right now. Maybe this is the whole fight with gun control, whatever your stance may be. These tragedies need to stop.
The doors will open Friday night at 9 o'clock. Now let's head over to Gannon to take a look at your forecast today.
You got it, Victoria. 7:05 out the door, 75 degrees at Fox Wilmington Shipyard Boulevard Studios. Let's keep it temperature focused here. Batting lead off your temperatures across southeastern North Carolina, northeastern South Carolina. You know, not a one-size-fits-all proposition. Some local holdouts in the low 60s on the far inland side. Some of our beach and intracoastal waterway communities already in the upper 70s. I'd say as a rule, you'll step outside and feel upper 60s and lower 70s for the next few minutes. And if you're wondering if you're going to run into any showers or storms as you hit the road this morning, wonder no more. The answer is categorically no. But on your afternoon drive, 1 or 2 pop-up showers and storms could be involved in that situation, because after a day where north and northeast winds reined in the heat and humidity and brought it down a little bit, south and southwest winds will be cranking today. So turn those temps and the humidity levels back up, and that summery air lending itself to a pop-up shower or storm for this afternoon or early evening. Otherwise, a partly cloudy, mild and muggy headliner for tonight. Your 36-hour forecast finishes with a 90 for Wednesday and a 40% chance of a shower or storm. Your 7-day forecast is coming up in a few. Guys, back to you.
All right, Gannon, thanks. It's been nearly 2 months since Ben Privet was found stabbed to death outside his home, and we still don't know the name of his alleged stabber, but that could change today.
Yeah, Stacey Penn has been following this case. She joins us live this morning. Stacey, what will be happening later today?
Good morning, Bob and Kim. Well, today will be that transfer hearing, and a judge will decide whether or not that 15-year-old will be tried as either a juvenile or tried as an adult. If he is tried as an adult, we could learn his name and many more details about him. Currently, the teen faces a first-degree murder charge, breaking and entering an attempted armed robbery. This is video of the scene that day in late April. Sheriff Ed McMahon said this is, quote, a random senseless act in a news conference in April. And the 39-year-old Ben Privet was found lying in front of his yard near the Kings Grant community the morning of April 22nd. We'll be sure to bring you those latest details and the developments of this transfer hearing as soon as we learn them, and we'll bring them to you on air and online. Back to you guys.
All right, Stacey, and also continuing coverage for you as the Nasheed Porter murder trial begins today in Pender County. Porter charged with murder for the shooting death of Brian Grant. He's also accused of murdering Obadiah Hester, a witness in the case. That murder happening while Porter was on pretrial release. Yesterday, a judge decided the prosecution can tell the jury about the second murder charge, saying the evidence could point out similarities between the killings. If convicted, Porter is facing life in prison for Grant's death.
HB2 backlash continuing, but this in the form of a play. A UNCW professor written and is directing a play against the so-called bathroom bill. The drama, based on Shakespeare's Measure for Measure, bears the same title. This Measure for Measure in North Carolina. It depicts a modern-day Raleigh where being different is against the law. The show runs June 16th through July 2nd at Sputnik. That's a club in downtown. You can find ticket prices by clicking on our story on foxwilmington.com.
2 lawsuits against HB2 are being combined. A federal judge agreed to merge the separate lawsuits filed by Governor Pat McCrory, other Republican leaders in the state, both trying to defend the law that limits protections for the LGBT community. The suits argued the federal government overreached when it declared the state law was discriminatory.
7:08 right now. Give you a look at your first alert traffic at this hour. Give you a live look right now at Cape from Memorial Bridge. Thinking things looking really good there, but that will change. 7:30, the bridge is scheduled to go up this morning. So if you are headed out of town and need to use the bridge, you might want to do so perhaps now. Beat the rush. Again, that traffic will start to stack up with the bridge going up between 7:15 and 7:30 this morning. Also give you a look now the other side of town, Eastwood and Cavalier. Not a lot going on there, just your typical traffic pattern. The 911 Twitter feed provided by New Hanover County, all clear this morning. And that's a look at your first alert traffic.